Again, I want to congratulate all the scholarship winners. Well, it's unbelievable how much Steinert High School does produce. When they talk about the youth of today, just look at the youth, and there you get it. There's a positive, not a negative. To all the inductees, I am honored to be with you in the Hall of Fame. All of you are unbelievable in your accomplishments. To hear the first, and I thought I knew most things about Steinert. I didn't know anything about her. And I'll tell you, you've made an imprint on me with your accomplishments. To my person here, Lou Cammiso, the class of 1973. Lou was a 2-year varsity baseball standout. He was an all-county, all-area, first-team selection, while also being named second-team All-State. He posted the lowest ERA in the history of Steinert pitchers with .375 in his senior year. That year, in 1973, they won the county championship, with Lou and Art Napolitano leading them to the magical season. Lou went on to Ryder, where he became one of the best pitchers in Ryder baseball history. As Sonny Pitaro, the Hall of Fame coach at Ryder for 36 years, said, and I quote, "He was the ultimate competitor, always pitching in the big games, especially on the weekends, conference games, even having to pitch, true story, both ends of a doubleheader and winning both." Lou ranks in the top 3 pitching leaders in wins in Ryder history, with a 25-10 record. I was lucky to have Lou at Ryder because I was the assistant coach for 7 years. He was talented. He was a bulldog with a great skill set for success. And I'll tell you a little story. I was coaching third one Saturday at Lehigh. Sonny allowed me to do that. And we were winning 2-0 in a very important game. And Lou was pitching in the 7th inning. We had 2 men on, first and second. Sonny gave me the bunt. In my own inimitable way, I denied it. And called the hit and run. The great person was up, the great runners were on. He hits a line drive. We're gonna score a run or 2. Little did I know that the shortstop would catch the line drive, step on second, throw to first for a triple play. What dugout do I go in? The visitors or the home? I found my route to the left of the dugout, avoiding Mr. Pitaro, because I know I was getting the stare, went right to Lou. I said, "Lou, you better not lose this game." He did not. He pitched the last 2 innings. We won 2-0, and Sonny Pitaro came up to me and said, "You are the luckiest coach on the face of the earth." But, true story. Lou is another Hamilton Square Hall of Famer that has now joined the Steinert Hall of Fame. He was a Nottingham Little League, Hamilton Babe Ruth, Hamilton Post 31, and with his good friend and teammate, one of the greatest athletes, Art Napolitano in Steinert history, who said he saw the competitiveness in everything that Lou did, and is very happy to welcome him into the Hall of Fame. Lou lives in Washington Crossing with his wife Jayne, and also Steinert graduate, and have 4 children, Gretchen, Lauren, Jacqueline, and Louis, and 5 grandchildren. I now welcome Gretchen to accept on behalf of her father, Lou. Ladies and gentlemen, Lou Cammiso.
Thank you. My father is alive and well-ish. He is unfortunately been plagued with some health conditions over the last couple years. He was originally supposed to be inducted in 2020, pushed it off, and so we are accepting this award on his behalf this year, but he is on the mend. My parents never forced athletics onto us. However, when my father especially spoke about his high school days and his athletic career, the manner in which he spoke about what he learned, the people that he met, and how much it impacted his life, we all naturally gravitated toward athletics and education. In fact, all the four of us went into the field of education, and I even went into coaching softball myself and became a high school athletic director. I know how much goes into a ceremony like this, and this is a beautiful ceremony, so I do want to thank the committee. This is very, very well done. They spoke in my father's bio about him being a bulldog and about his competitiveness. So my hope is that he can channel that. He is on FaceTime right now. My hope is that he can channel that competitive spirit and that bulldog that once resided in him and be here next year as one of the alumni inductees to experience this for himself. And so now I will read my father's speech on his behalf. I would like to start by thanking everyone on the committee for thinking of me and for the honor of being inducted into the Steinert High School Hall of Fame. I would also like to congratulate those who have gone before me for this honor and those who share in this night with me. It is truly humbling and a privilege that I will cherish forever. I last played on the ball field of Steinert in 1973, 50 years ago. That gives a man a lot of time to think and reflect on my playing days. One of the advantages of having that time is the space and maturity to not just think about my playing successes and accolades, but really about what drove me to succeed, what really motivated me to dedicate myself to that sport and what the sport gave me. A baseball player was all I ever wanted to be when I grew up. My Uncle Pete put a ball in my hand at 4 years old. A few days later, my grandfather took me on a bus to downtown Trenton to all the department stores and shops, and he got me my first uniform and glove. My obsession began, and baseball was everything for the next 20 years. I never wanted to put the ball down. I practiced constantly and fell in love with the game. At age 7, I started playing organized baseball, tiny league in Hamilton Township. These were real games. No coach pitch, no t-ball, real baseball. Every position was filled by a 7-year-old. I now understand how painful that was for the adults. We all know how hard it is at that age to find a kid that can come close to the strike zone. I could throw strikes, so my pitching career began then. I began to work hard on my skills to be a pitcher and shortstop, another position I loved. As a player, I always looked ahead and working towards the next level of what I wanted to achieve. That was part of my competitive drive. In those days, it was to play for Nottingham Little League and then Babe Ruth League. Accomplishing both of those were very satisfying, and it fueled my fire to continue to improve, achieve, and compete. I knew that being able to play for my school was just around the corner, and that was something that I was really excited about. I felt like being able to play for your school was something different, a chance to be a part of something larger. That meant that I was growing, and I wasn't just going to be a player on a team, I was going to be representing the school and representing my community. I was proud to play for Reynolds Junior High and loved being a part of something bigger. I played football, basketball, and baseball for Reynolds and have amazing and fond memories of those days. As a freshman, I had my sights set on one thing, Steinert High School. I dreamed of getting my first varsity letter and earning my first varsity jacket. I envisioned myself strutting around town in the school, beaming with pride, proud to be a Steinert Spartan. I vividly remember receiving my first jacket, and the sense of pride was exactly what I had imagined. I was representing my team and my school, and I wore that jacket constantly for those years. Now, high school sports in the 70s were a little bit different than they are now. We weren't training year-round. There weren't indoor facilities with cages or private coaches or strength and conditioning coaches or travel teams. You played baseball during baseball season. That meant baseball could not begin workouts and tryouts until March 1st of each year. Each year by then, my spikes were polished and my glove was well oiled. Everybody couldn't wait to get the season started. As you know, the school season is short, only lasted until late May, early June if your team was good enough to advance to postseason play, which we were. But still, 10 weeks is short. You had to pack a lot of ambition, emotion, passion, and love for something into 10 short weeks. But maybe that's why I loved it so much. I was also fortunate enough to play American Legion baseball for Post 31 when school ball ended and got to play with some of my high school teammates, as well as with and against some other talented local baseball players, and that was a great experience for me. When my playing days at Steinert were over, I was lucky enough that I received a scholarship to continue playing baseball at Rider College. I got to play the sport I love for 4 more years at the next highest level. I cherished my playing days there, and I gave it everything I had, because I knew most likely that this was where my successful baseball journey would end. It was, and I reflect on my journey, my successes, and my lessons often. My journey lasted almost 15 years, in part because of my love, dedication, and passion for the sport of baseball, but mostly in part for the support I had along the way. I had the never-ending support of my father and mother and my sister Mary Ann, who is here tonight. I was married to my wife, Jayne, during my senior year at Rider, and she supported us so I could continue to play the game I loved. They all shared in the wins and losses and encouraged me to continue to work hard. My father spent countless hours helping me practice and hone my skills. He was there from the very first day, and he was the first one to shake my hand when I came off of the mound after pitching my final game for Rider. Along my journey, I was blessed with some great coaches. Ken Riemann from Reynolds, Ken Ruba and Elwood Tryon from Steinert, Sonny Patera and Rich Giallella from Rider, and from Post 31, Clarence R., Bruce Garland, Frank Fraticingelli, and finally Ken Freeman, who many of you know just passed away last weekend. I thank all of these men for the time they invested in not just me, but the countless other players whose lives they impacted. Coaches not only teach the sport, but teach life lessons. I have taken little bits from every one of these men: teamwork, motivation, leadership, commitment, competition, recognition, accountability, patience, and the realization that you can have fun and work hard at the same time. All of it helped me when the playing days were over. I used the foundation to have a successful career in management and to provide for my family. I will close with my greatest achievements, and that is my family. I am blessed to have had a loving and supportive wife, Jayne, for the past 46 years, and for our 4 children, Gretchen, Lauren, Jacqueline, and Louis, and for our 5 grandchildren, Carmen, Millie, Rosalind, Lucy, and Javier. I am proud of our children's accomplishments, but more for who they have become as people and parents. When we are all together, I can see that competitive drive and spirit was passed down, and it comes out in everything we do. Again, I thank the committee for this honor. I would not have what I have, accomplish what I have, or be who I am without the sport of baseball. Thank you.